Hi guys. So one of the biggest challenges that I've experienced as a new working mom has been breastfeeding, continue to breastfeed my son. And obviously that implies pumping at work, continuing to breastfeed when you're with the baby and all that stuff. And once you add the whole work dynamic into the whole baby raising situation, it definitely adds a lot of other factors that you have to figure out and deal with. So if you're a mom who is on maternity leave right now and is maybe already preparing yourself, maybe a little bit worried about what's going to happen when you go into work and you want to continue breastfeeding, pumping, etc., or you're a mom who has just gone back into the workforce, or you've been in the workforce for a few months and you've noticed that you want to kind of give yourself more support in the milk production department, then definitely keep watching, and I hope this video helps you. Just to give you a little bit of background, my son is almost 9 months old. I was very lucky in the fact that I was able to take a 6-month maternity leave. That allowed me to nurse my son exclusively for the first 6 months. From early on, our whole nursing chemistry between him and I was really, really great, and continues to be a very enjoyable part of motherhood, something that I hold near and dear to my heart, and it's very important for me, which is why I really wanted to make sure that I could maintain my breast milk supply as much as possible when I went back into work, so that I didn't have to sacrifice not only giving my son the great nutrition of breast milk, but also continuing that bond of nursing when I'm with him, which is so special to me. I should also note, as part of the sort of background, is that I was able, like I said, to breastfeed my son exclusively for the first 6 months, which was awesome. At the 6-month mark though, I definitely hit a bit of a bump in the road when it came to my supply. And I noticed it right away, and it was kind of a combination of 3 key things that I know happened pretty much right at the same time. And those 3 things were, of course, like I said, I went back to work at the 6-month mark. 2 weeks before going back to work, I got my period. Super fun. And that definitely will, for any nursing mom, will be a moment when you're not only the first time you get your period, but thereafter probably see a dip in your milk supply because of the hormone fluctuations and all that stuff. And then the other thing is that at the 6-month mark, your baby will begin to eat solids. Once they start eating their little bits of solids, that's something else that could end up making your supply suffer a little bit. So at 6 months, I did have to begin supplementing with formula. And at first, I did not want to do it. I struggled and I resisted for the first few days after I had the conversation with my pediatrician, and I came to the realization that, of course, I needed to supply my baby with whatever he needed to continue growing and thriving. So my husband and I picked a formula an organic formula that we are very happy with. And even though it took me a little bit of time because of my pride, because of the fact that I wanted to continue breastfeeding him exclusively, not have to supplement with anything up until the year, all that stuff, I had to put it to the side and kind of come into, more of a, accepting and loving attitude towards myself. And everything that I had already been through and I had already done for my son, and seeing that as enough, because I was doing as much as possible to maintain the supply, but it wasn't enough for him to have his full feedings when I had already returned back to work. So, that's one thing that I had to make peace with. And I remember after being at work for the first week and a half and doing the pumping and all that stuff, thinking, I'm so glad I made peace with that, and I'm so glad we found a good formula, and I'm so glad I'm okay with this whole supplementing thing, because being a mom is hard. Being a mom with any work situation is hard. But when you're separated from your baby and you have to pump, and you put that stress and that demand on yourself to continue producing a certain amount of milk that he or she is going to need every single day, that puts a lot of pressure on you. There's a whole slew of factors that go into it. So my point is, if you have to supplement, it's okay. It is perfectly okay. Just to kind of put it out there, the American Pediatrics Association recommends that babies are exclusively breastfed for the first 6 months, if the mom can do it, and continue to take breast milk up until the year, And if you choose to continue breastfeeding your baby after that, then that's totally up to you and your baby. Some babies may not want to. Some moms may be like, all right, I'm done, that's it. I'm of the thinking right now, and like I said, my son is almost 9 months old. I definitely want to continue through the year. And beyond that, if he's still happy nursing and I'm still happy nursing and it works for both of us, then we will continue on a little bit longer. These are the things that I've done over the past 3 months now since I've been back in working full time, and have been able to continue breastfeeding my son successfully. And it's something that I've definitely worked towards, so I figured let me put them out there in case they help anybody else. This is all stuff that's already exists out there. There's nothing new and revolutionary, but maybe in sharing what's worked for me, somebody else out there could pick up a tip or two that can help them too. Okay, so tip number 1, and this is a very, very important one, is to take a nice deep breath and to acknowledge wherever it is that you are right now. As a mom, in relation to your baby, as a woman, just acknowledge where you are. Feel proud of where you are, where you've gotten in this journey. If you're watching this video, chances are you've had the ability to breastfeed your baby. I say to you, congratulations. If you're pumping very little right now and are feeling very anxious and stressed out, I say to you, congratulations, and good for you for continuing to give it your all and to look for resources and to find other moms and to find ways that you can continue to give your baby this amazing source of nutrition. If you are somebody who knows a mom who is breastfeeding, tell her congratulations, because it's not easy. It's a beautiful, wonderful, kind of glorious, most natural thing in the world, and it feels amazing, but it's work. It's definitely work. It doesn't just happen. Wherever you are in your journey, congratulations. And the whole taking a deep breath thing is, very real and practical, because the fact is that when you are stressed out, when you are anxious, whether it's because your supply has dipped in pumping, or because you're particularly stressed at work for a certain reason, or because you're still not sleeping well because your baby still isn't sleeping through the night, or challenges in your relationship. The first year of having a kid is difficult on so many levels, and you have to give yourself every bit of kind of love and self-care that you can as a mom. And that's why deep breaths and feeling proud of where you are. So that's my first big, massive tip, just continuing to take care of yourself, to nurture yourself in whatever way you can, so that you can continue to feel whole and good and in balance in a time when things are kind of off kilter. Because again, I'm only 9 months into this game, but I can tell you it's the hardest, most amazing thing I've ever done. And it requires a lot of just kind of giving yourself a little love, because it's a challenge. So that's my number 1 tip. Nice, big, deep, long, glorious, delicious breath. Tip number 2 is, it really is all about supply and demand. You have probably read this if you've been searching online. It's supply and demand. You have to commit to pump, and you have to commit to nurse your son or daughter. If they continue to latch, some babies never latch and moms just pump exclusively, that's awesome too. Whatever situation you have with your baby, if your baby has been latching up until the point that you go back into work, continue having them latch as much as possible when you are with them live and in person. If your baby is still latching on, definitely get him or her on the boob as much as possible in the mornings before you go into work, and then in the evenings as soon as you get in, or shortly after you get in and kind of get settled. And of course, when you're at work, you have to pump consistently. There's no way of getting around it, because what you're doing is you're sending a signal to your boobs that they need to produce more milk. It's as simple as that. Really, really, there's no magic way around just the pumping. So you need to schedule yourself. You need to have that discipline to craft time in your day, and everybody's work situation is different. You kind of figure out what you have to do and figure out what's comfortable for you in terms of how far are you willing to go to do this. If it's really important for you, I'm of the thinking that you'll kind of find a way. But if at any point it becomes just too stressful, don't feel pressured from the outside to do anything. Have that come from within. If the desire to breastfeed comes from within, and you know the facts, breast milk is the number 1 most amazing nutrition that you can give your baby. This is true. But that doesn't mean that formulas aren't amazing also and have been crafted to provide baby with the nutrition that he or she needs. So do as much as you can that comes from within, from the right place, because of your relationship then with the pump becomes, there's a certain level of annoyance that you could develop because, you know, you're attached to this thing that's sucking your boobs and come on. When I am pumping, I kind of like try to tune into my body. I look at pictures of my son. I look at little videos of my son. I think about him. Maybe I'll put a little bit of like relaxing music on my phone so I can listen to it and just kind of get into a good space. And within a day in the office that's pretty hectic and full of lots of different things, this actually becomes a nice kind of oasis for me. Number 3, set yourself up for success. Don't rely on just, you know, oh, I'm gonna do this and that's it. Make sure you have the best pump that you can get. It really does make a difference. Have a good pump. Get yourself some, and I'm gonna show you the ones that I like, some hands-free pumping bras. I have 2, which the pictures for this, by the way, are absolutely hilarious. When you see the women like on the laptop all smiling, pumping, it's like so funny. But hey, it's true. Like, you know, true mom stories. This is the Lancino brand. This one I found that I actually really like. The Medela ones come in 3 or 4 different sizes. This one is one size, but it's adjustable. So I think it's probably a little bit easier to get the right fit. The other one, the fit I thought was like too tight, and then the other size was too big for me. So this one is perfect. It's really soft, very comfortable. And the one I use for work is this one, and I actually forgot the name, but I will link these below. This one I got on Amazon, and it looks very hilarious and kind of like a strange contraption. But you basically put this around your neck, and then you clip this white thing around, you know, your chest. And what I do with this one is kind of cradle the flange inside the bra, and then the flange goes in here. And then you go like this. This is really great because it's easy. You just lift your top off, or, you know, if you have a dress that you zip down, and you kind of put this on, and it's a little less maneuvering versus this other one. And the other benefit of this one is that it allows you to massage your breast. And along with tip number 2, which was supply and demand, one of the things that I learned kind of later on, but is so vital to remember, is it's not just about breast stimulation. Okay, it's not just about the pump or the baby latching on. It's also about emptying the breast. And from what I've read, that's almost even more important than stimulation. Like, stimulation is critical, but the whole supply and demand thing, the emptier your breast is, the better signal your boob gets to make more milk. So after you're done pumping at work, one of the things that I started to do is I actually express the additional milk with my hands. So you kind of do some breast massage. The whole idea is to basically drain your breast as much as possible so that it again sends a signal to like, let's get more good stuff going. Tip number 4, along with your supplies of setting yourself up for success with your good pump, nursing bras and all that stuff, is try to have other little things that will help you get in the zone. And I mentioned this earlier, that pictures of your baby, videos of your baby, some people will take clothing items, anything that can trigger sort of that feeling of being relaxed. I have made a conscious effort to breathe, to clear my mind, to look at a picture of my baby, to think about him nursing, to think about his smell, to think about the little back of his neck and how yummy it feels, his little hands, and that will trigger another letdown reflex because your body then relaxes again. And when your body is relaxed and in that zone, and that's the magic for, that's kind of the magic place. And it's difficult to do it at work because you're on a schedule, and if you're in your office, you've got people that might be waiting for you for something, or if you're in a bathroom stall, you're in a bathroom stall and you're doing this, good for you if that's what you're doing. Whatever situation it is, it's not like being home. It's not like being with your baby. So you have to create that kind of space to sort of, there are even meditations online that you can listen to while you're pumping. And finally, tip number 5 has to do with what are the things that you can put in your body to help you with your milk production. Number 1, water. Water. On days that I don't drink enough water, I will absolutely see an effect on my pumping. for sure. There's no question about it. So drink as much water during the day as you can. Again, set yourself up for success. Make it easy to have that water accessible. We can get lost in the flow of meetings and calls and emails and whatever kind of line of work you're doing. If you don't have a good water supply in your body, then forget it. Your milk is definitely gonna suffer. Other things that I've tried, there are a million things online. I've definitely tried fenugreek. I don't know that it's worked that well for me. I'm still taking it. Maybe it's worked a little bit, but not enough for me to be like, oh, this did it, this is it. And again, this is very unscientific. This is only me, a one-woman show, trying these things out. So try them for yourself. Another thing that I started to take is a calcium and magnesium supplement. I read that those are good too. That's good for you anyway, then you can take that as well, and that could be helpful. The one I've noticed though that I think really does kind of work is the oatmeal. And it's funny because, again, it's one of those very unscientific, but I have noticed, and this is something that I've actually started to really incorporate more recently, I've noticed that the days that I eat oatmeal, my milk supply definitely increases. It's not like, oh my God, a drastic amount, but enough for me to notice. Let's see, what else besides, I would say that definitely water and oatmeal, those two things have been key in terms of the things that I've eaten, and I haven't tried anything else. Please let me know if there's something that you've tried that has worked fantastic for you in the comments, because I'm always game to try something new. But the oatmeal, definitely give that a try because it's cheap enough and it's good for you. It's not only good for the breast milk, but it's also good for you. So it's definitely worth giving a try. So there you have it. Those are my 5 tips for what you can do to maintain your breast milk supply when you go back into the workplace. And I really hope this helped you. Again, just to recap really, really quickly, number 1 is to take a nice deep breath and congratulate yourself and honor yourself for wherever it is that you are on your journey. Number 2 is it's all about supply and demand. So you have to be conscious and you have to be diligent and you have to be consistent with your pumping and nurse your baby. If your baby continues to latch on, make sure to nurse your baby whenever you're with him, mornings, evenings, weekends, etc. Number 3 is to set yourself up for success with the right tools, a great pump, a good hands-free pumping bra, and whatever else you need to make your pumping experience a little more manageable and a little bit happier. Number 4, along those same lines, is to create the right ambiance for pumping, to think about your baby, to relax into your body, to really feel proud of what you're doing, and hopefully let all those good, yummy feelings trigger more delicious milk to come out. And number 5 is all about what are the things that you can take. There are definitely some, they're called galactagogues, some things that you can take that could boost your milk supply. Every mom is different. You just have to try this out for yourself and see what works for you. So there it is. Those are my 5 tips. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments below what your experience has been. If you have any other tips for me that I could try, I would love to hear them. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.